From what people smell like to a dog to what if Earth had two moons. My name is Darling, and I'm here to answer everyone's burning questions about life.
Hello, dear. I'm Planet Dolan, and I'm here to blow your mind with truth. What is wrong with you?
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, I can see that. Hey! If I don't have that stuff, my brain won't work.
Quiet! Silly boy. Bring me more juice.
I can't. You drank it all. This will be the first time in months that I haven't had any brain juice thanks to you.
It's better. What? Why are you looking at me like that for?
Nothing. You're a very stable person.
What an odd thing to say.
Yes, very odd. What would happen if you took a baby from 10,000 years ago and raised them today?
Considering anatomically modern humans first appeared over 200,000 years ago, 10,000 years isn't really that long. It's likely the child would adapt well to modern times. However, if you were to take a child from 100,000 years ago or more, there's a good chance their brains wouldn't be as developed as they are today, in which case they would lack the brain power to reason or find patterns like we do. The further back you go, the less likely you are to encounter humans who would be able to adapt to modern times, even if they were raised in that environment as a baby.
Look, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but babies don't tend to stay babies when 10,000 years have passed. They would be very, very old, maybe even dead. You would need to use some kind of black magic, which is more Darling's specialty.
I would raise this time-traveling baby to become my undying servant, my private assassin that I can send out on, cleanup missions.
You gotta remind me not to leave you with any small children.
Too late.
Ah, great. Why is the rank of colonel pronounced colonel despite not having any R's?
This is because the word comes from the old 16th century French colonnella, meaning commander of a regiment of soldiers, adapted from the Italian word colonnello. It's been said by language experts that the reason for this change is because the French wanted the R sound in their word instead of the two L's. For a long time, both of these versions were used to explain the same rank until eventually it was decided to combine them, with English speakers sticking closer to the French pronunciation, but the Italian spelling.
Back in the old days, being a colonel meant you were in charge of watching the popcorn popping on the stovetop. Over time, these popcorn colonels wanted more responsibilities, and so they started leading these armies in World War I and II. In hindsight, they may not have been qualified to go from popping popcorn to helping pop people.
I'm not sure that's how it worked.
Oh yeah? Were you there in World War I?
No.
Well then you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Dan Gaining Fan asks, what do people smell like to a dog?
Dogs have a much stronger sense of smell than humans, with about 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 6 million. To a dog, we smell like everything we've eaten and every chemical product we've used on our own bodies over the last several days, as well as the smell of everyone we've been in contact with over the last day. Dogs can even tell what product the other person used by the leftover scent alone. Interestingly, dogs are also able to detect certain chemical compounds in our body odor that can reveal information about our health and emotional state. For example, studies have shown that dogs can detect changes in the scent of a person's breath or skin that are associated with certain medical conditions, such as cancer or diabetes. Dogs are also known for their ability to pick up on human emotions, detecting chemical signals associated with our moods and emotional states.
A little known fact is that to a dog, humans smell absolutely delicious. A dog will be your best friend, a loyal companion until the day, nay, the very moment you show any sign of weakness. 1 minute, happy and loving, licks and cuddles. The next, you hurt your ankle? Soon I shall feast.
It kind of sounds like you've been hanging around some evil dogs.
Nah, they were fine. I just stubbed my toe is all. I just stubbed my toe. I'm not dying. Relax. Ford the Lord asks, what if the Earth's atmosphere suddenly lowered drastically nitrogen?
If this happened, crop yields would go barren and there would be rampant food shortages. Bacteria ecosystems would also be disrupted and lead to an imbalance in nutrient cycles that could have far-reaching effects on the planet's ecology. Most importantly, though, nitrogen is a critical component of the Earth's atmosphere because it helps regulate temperature and climate patterns. Nitrogen gas absorbs and emits radiation from the sun, which helps to keep the planet at a stable temperature. A drastic reduction in nitrogen levels could lead to a vastly increased heating and climate instability. If all nitrogen suddenly vanished, though, you would find most life on Earth would die, considering we need it to live and breathe.
A lack of nitrogen, that right there is a seller's market. At every street corner will be scalpers selling canisters of nitrogen. And you thought the PlayStation console shortages were bad? Well, you didn't need PlayStations to live.
Mr. D, I'm wondering if we should let these people have their nitrogen?
Yeah, but what if we need it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
What if Earth had 2 moons?
The gravitational pull of the 2 moons would cause tides to be much higher and much more unpredictable, which could have an impact on coastal ecosystems and industries, if not destructive tsunamis. It would also mean brighter nights as the 2 moons reflect sunlight. Their combined light could potentially be enough to cast shadows at night and make it much harder to see stars in the night sky. Earth's rotation would also slow down slightly, resulting in longer days. The lengthening of days could also affect the Earth's climate and the behavior of organisms that rely on daylight to regulate their biological clocks.
This isn't as impressive as you might think. Since the moon is already just a projection, it's relatively inexpensive to set up a projector for a second.
And what possible benefit would there be to doing this?
If we set up even more projectors, we could have an infinite number of moons. The more moons, the less need for light bulbs and street lamps. It's just economical. Imagine the wondrous possibilities of a world wrapped in endless blistering skylight. Look how excited the people are. When you open and close a fridge door, why does it become harder to open again right after?
The simple answer is because of all the hot air that enters the fridge when you open the door. So when you close it, that air quickly cools and constricts, which sucks in the door and holds it closed. Additionally, closing the door compresses the rubber seal around it, turning the fridge into a little bit of a vacuum, waiting for air to leak in. It tends to equalize over time, so you'll notice that after a small amount of time, the door will be easier to open than if you repeatedly opened and closed it for whatever reason.
Actually, this is to prevent exploitations. Everyone knows that each time you check the contents of your fridge, there's a chance that thing you really want to eat or drink will magically appear. To prevent this, each time you quickly close and reopen the fridge door, it'll become harder and harder until it's impossible. That means you've encountered the lockout period. Maybe wait 10 minutes and then try again.
But I want my juice now! Ah!
Man, one day without brain juice and I'm hallucinating.
What are you talking about?
It's so weird. It's like some woman was bashing on my sleeping pod.
Here. You can have it.
How oddly generous.